The stars were quiet. The sky looked peaceful. But peace was an illusion. Inside the main chamber of the Galactic Council, tension was thick. Dozens of species sat in silence. Their eyes watched the giant screen in the center. A message had arrived. A human transmission. Short, broken, but terrifying. They know then nothing. The screen went black. The transmission ended. The room was silent for a full minute. No one moved. No one spoke. Till finally the Zarkon delegate broke the silence. What was that? No answer came. A moment later, the council's AI is smooth. Silver orb floating near the ceiling spoke in a calm voice. That was a message from the human ambassador on Viral 9. The message was interrupted. The source has gone offline. Gone? The Kari general asked. Offline? How? The AI paused, then answered, no signal. No life signs. All human embassies in council space are dark eyes. Suddenly, the chamber filled with noise, shouting, fear. The Vortok screamed. The Lakar whispered among themselves. Even the cold-hearted Kryn flickered their lights in alarm. The humans had gone dark. Not just their embassies, not just their diplomats. Every human outpost, every colony, every transmission had stopped. They vanished from the communication grid, instantly like they had never existed. Ambassador Thaler of the Nelari raised his hand. This is not normal. Humans don't do this. What does it mean? The old Creel matriarch leaned forward. It means they know something, and now they don't trust us. No one dared disagree. One message, 2 words. And the galaxy changed. Admiral. Zarn Valak stared out the viewport of his battleship. Silent hope. Stars drifted slowly past. He was an old warrior of the Jalari people, a race known for their honor. But this felt like a trap. Still no contact? He asked his bridge. Officer none. Admiral. We are 5 light hours from Sol System. Human border defenses are active, but silent. They are watching us, but not responding. Valak folded his arms. They see us, but they say nothing. Yes, sir. He turned and looked at the large screen. It showed the solar system. Earth sat at the center.
Ow.
Blue, quiet, normal. But every satellite around it was military. Send another message. Full diplomatic tone. No threats. The officer nodded and sent the signal. No reply. Valak knew what this meant. The humans had made a decision, and they were not changing it. Back to the edge of the system, he ordered. Let's not provoke them. As his ship turned, a new alert flashed. Admiral. There's something at the edge of space. A small object. It's transmitting. Valak frowned. What kind of object? A beacon, sir. Just outside the solar border. Very old tech. Analog design. Crude, but deliberate. Put it on screen. The image appeared. A black metal box floated alone in the dark. Its red light blinked slowly once every 10 seconds. Is it dangerous? No weapons. Just a message. Simple radio pulse. What message? The officer hesitated, then read aloud. Do not follow or burn. Back in the council chambers, chaos spread. The top brass from every major species debated, argued, shouted. A few even suggested war, but one being Counselor Menix of the Drelth sat in silence. He was the oldest living member. He had seen humans rise over centuries. He watched them. Joined the council 100 years ago, strong but quiet, curious but careful, and now, silence. He leaned toward the AI. Search all council records. Look for any breach, any operation involving Earth, something they may have discovered. The AI processed for several minutes, then replied, redacted files detected. Locked by Council, level 0 clearance. By who? Menix asked. The answer made the chamber go cold. By the original founders of the Council. File timestamp, 218 years ago. No one had access to files that old. Not even the current leaders. What's in them? Another delegate asked. The AI paused again. Unknown. Requesting override would require full Founder Council reinstatement, which no longer exists. What about the human ambassador? Asked the Ixen Prime. He sent the message. Can we locate him? No, the AI replied. Virel 9 embassy has been sealed. No heat, no movement, security feeds are wiped. They didn't just leave. They cleaned everything behind them. That was a human move. Back on the Silent Hope, Admiral Valok studied the beacon again. The message continued. Do not follow or burn. He gave orders to collect the beacon carefully. No contact. Just scan, but the moment his drone touched the device, it exploded. Not a big blast. It's just enough to destroy the drone and send a shockwave. Valak stood quickly. Raised shields. Full alert. But no second explosion came. Just silence. The humans didn't want to destroy them. They wanted to send a warning. He looked again at the screen. The red blinking light was gone. But the message burned in his mind. Do not follow or burn. 2 days later, strange reports arrived from other parts of the galaxy. A Lakari trade. Ship vanished near the Gliese Gate where a human science station once operated. No distress call. No debris. A Council recon drone entered the asteroid belt near Mars. It sent back one image before going dark, a human station covered in black plates humming with strange energy. The drone melted seconds later. A mining crew on Proxima be found. A human relay satellite, hollowed out. Inside it was a note. Just paper. Old-fashioned, written in English. We see your moves. Don't mistake our silence for weakness. Back on Earth, beneath the oceans of Europa's moon, a hidden chamber lit up. A tall man walked inside. Wearing a black uniform with no rank, he placed his hand on a scanner. A voice asked, "Confirm command authority." He replied, "Director Michael Voss. Project Silent Shield. Execute Phase 2. Confirmed. Lunar system lock engaged. Deep grid active. Cloaking array powered." Behind him, a map of the galaxy appeared. Red dots marked every Council world then. They began to fade, one by one. This was not defense. This was ear. In the Council, fear turned into panic. Meetings became threats. Some demanded war. Others demanded answers. But answers never came. One final attempt was made. A joint diplomatic fleet of 7 species was sent to Earth's outer orbit. All ships armed but with weapons off. Their goal, talk. They arrived after 6 days. No human ships met them. Only a single satellite turned to face them. It blinked, once, twice, then 10 times in quick rhythm. Translate it, the ambassador ordered. The AI replied, "Morse code." Did that say? The AI paused. It says, "Had your chance?" Suddenly, stars around Earth began to move. Not ships, satellites, thousands, each one activated. Bright red lines connected between them, like a net wrapping the planet. Then they went dark. Total blackout. The diplomatic fleet tried to send a message, nothing left. Earth was gone from the grid. Back in Council space, one last report came through. A scavenger ship picked up a piece of debris from the destroyed human relay. Burned into the metal were the same words, "We trusted you, never again." In one instant, the Council realized something horrifying. They didn't lose contact with humans. Humans ended contact with everyone by choice. And now, the galaxy would wait. Wait to see if the silence remained, or if the next message would be war. The stars had not changed. They still burned quietly in the sky. But something else had changed, something deep and hidden. Humanity was no longer speaking. It did not happen suddenly. The silence had been building for years, but no one had noticed, not the Council, not the other species, not even Earth's closest allies, because the silence had not begun in space. It had started with a secret. A terrible secret. It began in a deep bunker under the Earth's surface. The room was filled with screens, wires, and humming machines. At the center stood a woman in a dark gray suit. Name was Director Arya Kane, head of Earth's Interstellar Intelligence Division. She stared at the data stream in front of her. Her eyes were cold. Focused beside her, an old man in a military uniform spoke quietly. "Are you sure this is real?" Arya nodded. "We triple-checked. It's from the Council Core database. It's hidden deep, behind old code and sealed access. Someone tried very hard to bury it." "What did we find?" She didn't answer with words. Instead, she pressed a button. The main screen lit up. Images flashed by, old records, meeting logs, genetic charts, battle statistics. The voice of an alien AI began to speak. "This council directive, signed by the founding species, 218 years ago, establishes the priority protocol for species balance. In the event of uncontrolled growth, resource strain, or political instability, preemptive population reset is authorized." The man frowned. "Population reset?" Arya didn't blink. "It means genocide. Quietly done. It's hidden as accidents. Plagues or disappearances. Every few decades, a rising species gets removed." The general's voice turned hard. "And we're next." Arya nodded. "Yes, the files call it Project Blue Silence. Planned for execution in 7 years. Earth is marked for neutralization." The general turned to the screen again. The words were there, clear and cold. Target: Homo sapiens. Status: unaware. Threat level: rising. Solution: silence protocol. Back in space, the Council still believed humans were unpredictable but manageable. But deep beneath Earth's surface, plans were already in motion. Plans no one outside of Earth would ever see. It was called Project Silent Shield. Arya Kane presented it to Earth's president, a tall woman with sharp eyes named Lena Mora. "The moment we found the file," Arya said, "we began preparing." President sat quietly as the lights dimmed. A hologram appeared, a 3D map of Earth, the Moon, Mars, outer colonies. "All diplomatic ships are already returning," Arya continued, removing satellites into blackout positions. AI-cum scramblers are being uploaded across all channels. Lena Mora nodded. "And what about our spies in Council space?" Activated, Arya said. "Some have gone dark, as others are feeding the Council false information." "Good." The president stood and walked to the window. Outside the Earth's sky looked calm, but above it, silent ships were moving, black, stealthy, invisible to Council scans. President Mora turned back. "I want every Earth system locked, every relay shut. I want one thing to be clear." She paused. "No one touches Earth again. Not after what they planned." 2 weeks before the last transmission, a human deep space intelligence probe entered the Virel system, the home of the Council's central archive. It was designed to look like space junk, but inside, it carried the most advanced data-drilling AI humanity had ever made. The probe floated quietly past security drones. It landed gently on an abandoned communications relay. From there, it connected to the Council's backup network. It took 13 seconds to find what it needed inside a hidden archive. The AI uncovered logs of private meetings between the founding species. Words were cold, direct, planned. "The humans have grown faster than expected. Their military technology is reaching dangerous levels. They will not submit to genetic agreements. They resist cultural reshaping. Their memory is too long. Their loyalty to Earth is too strong. They are unfit for integration. They will become a threat to the balance. Activate Project Blue Silence. Begin in 7 Earth years." The probe self-destructed after sending the full package. Back to Earth, its mission was over. The human ambassador to the Council, Daniel Rees, received the data 3 hours later. He didn't hesitate. He called Earth. "Code Black," he said. Simply, then, prepared the final message. The one the Council would later hear only halfway. They know. Then silence. Daniel never left the embassy. No one knows if he was killed or stayed behind to make sure no one followed in the days after that message. Earth locked itself tighter than ever. Civilian networks were taken offline. Orbital gates were sealed. AI defense arrays were activated. But even more disturbing, colonies began to vanish. Not in explosions, not in chaos. In silence, Earth recalled its people from outer systems quietly. Stations that once held thousands were now empty. Empty, and rigged with traps for anyone who dared enter. When scouts went to investigate a former Mars listening post. They found it empty except for a message written on the wall. "We are done speaking." Admiral Zarn Valok, still patrolling near the edge of Sol, was now receiving strange messages from other fleets. Ships disappearing, stations abandoned, relays going dark, and each time, the only thing left behind was a simple phrase, "sometimes." In human languages, sometimes translated by AI, "You betrayed us in silence. Now hear our silence." Zarn didn't understand. He was a warrior, not a politician. But he knew one thing for sure. Humans had known for longer than anyone thought. And now they were preparing something the galaxy was not ready for. The council panicked. Emergency meetings were called. Threats were made. Proposals to send invasion fleets were shouted across the chambers, but no one moved. Why? Because the humans weren't attacking, they weren't threatening, they were just gone. And that scared the council more than war. On Earth's moon, deep inside a hidden base, Director Arya Kane met with 5 other leaders. Each represented a different division: defense, science, intelligence, cyber, and off-world operations. They stood before a massive circular screen. At the center of the screen was a single question: do we strike back? The room went quiet then. Arya spoke. "No, not yet." She pointed to a growing list of intercepted council messages. "They're scared. Let them wonder. Let them fear." Another officer asked for how long. Arya answered coldly, "Until they forget how to sleep." In a distant council colony, a small child played with a toy ship. Her father watched the stars above. He was a merchant, a peaceful man. He remembered the humans, friendly, curious, clever. He still hoped this was all a mistake. Then the colony lights flickered. The stars above began to blink in strange patterns. Not randomly, not naturally. They were blinking in code, a hidden message. The colony AI translated it. "This is only the silence before the storm." The merchant dropped his drink. Far away, a council admiral read the same message, and for the first time in his life, he was truly afraid. Back on Earth, President Lena Mora sat alone in her private office. The stars above shined down through the glass ceiling. She held a tablet in her hands. It showed a long list. Colonies evacuated, diplomatic assets recalled. Council black sites, exposed Project Silent Shield. Iset She pressed her hand to a scanner. Quiet voice responded. Command confirmed. Preparing Phase 2 authorization. The president whispered to herself, "We were ready." Long before they noticed. She looked up at the stars one last time. They made their choice. Then she spoke the final command. Let the galaxy listen to nothing. And the screen went dark. The galaxy was not used to silence. It was used to noise. Trade messages, border disputes, military chatter, politics, signals bouncing between stars every second. But now, wherever the council looked toward, Earth or its colonies, they heard nothing. No greetings, no warnings. It's not even static. And silence is dangerous. Because silence means something is happening. No one knows what. Admiral Vok Talrin of the Zerth Armada floated in his flagship. Stone Valor, staring at the map of the Sol. System 3 weeks had passed since Earth cut communications. Council ships had tried to approach Mars. The Moon, and even Saturn's rings. None had been attacked. But they also hadn't returned. "I don't like this," he growled. His voice was sharp, his tone low. His second officer, a Lakari female named Kesht, looked nervous. Still no word. "From the scouts near Neptune, we lost the signal 14 hours ago. Any sign of engagement?" "No, just silence." Admiral Vok looked at the map again. He tapped the red blinking dots locations of lost ships. They were vanishing without sound, without a fight, without even debris left behind. "This isn't war," Vok said slowly. Something else. They're not fighting us. They're removing us. Across the galaxy, strange things began happening. A Council trading fleet was traveling through the Galvan Corridor, a neutral trade route between Council space and the Outer Rim. Suddenly, all their systems failed at once. Every ship shut down. Power lost. Lights off, no one died. But when power returned after 2 hours, they found every data core had been wiped. Every private Council document stolen. Even personal data was gone. In its place was a message written in every Council language. You watch others, we watch better. A top-secret Council black site located on a moon called Drazar 4 exploded. In the middle of the night, the base had been protected by 24-hour security, cloaking fields, and armed drones. No alarms were triggered. The blast was surgical only. The data vault and command center were destroyed, nothing else touched. A single piece of metal was left behind, pressed into the floor. The symbol on it was unmistakable. The Earth flag half burned at the same time. Council security AIs began reporting strange behavior. Some cameras in military bases were turning off at night, only to turn back on with no memory of what happened during those hours. Ship logs were being altered. Tracking systems rerouted. Old security footage, replaced with human warning symbols. Some species believed it was sabotage. Others whispered a darker word, infiltration, in a hidden station inside Earth's asteroid belt. A team of human operatives watched a massive screen. It showed dots moving across the Galaxy Council fleets, stations, and communication routes. Each time a dot disappeared, a human officer would say one word: clean. The leader of the team, Commander Ishavaran, walked in. She wore a black coat with no insignia. She looked at the map. Status: 47 targets wiped. No detection. Phase 3 is ready. Good. She tapped the screen. The next target was not a station. It was a person. A Council warlord named Kelron Zar, known for secretly pushing anti-human policies. In Council meetings, Isha smiled coldly. Let's remind him that humans don't forget. 2 days later, Kelron Zar was found dead in his private chambers. His guards said no one entered. The security AI reported no break-in. There were no signs of struggle. Just a small card left on his desk. You planned our end. Now we end your plans. Council declared it an internal political killing. But the fear spread faster than the news. The Council finally admitted it. The humans were attacking, but they were not using weapons. They were using silence. Removing. Hiding, rewriting, and the galaxy didn't know how to fight that. Inside the Council chambers, panic ruled. Deploy fleets. One delegate shouted, "No, try to make peace." Another screamed, "The humans have crossed the line. They're doing what we planned for them." And then a quiet voice spoke from the back of the hall. Councillor Menix, the old Drelth elder. "They are not at war," he said. "Not in the way we understand it." "What do you mean?" someone asked. Menix stood slowly. "They are fighting in a way we never expected. Quiet, precise. They are taking away our control, not our ships." He pointed to the screen showing another disappeared station. "They want us afraid. They want us confused. And they're doing it perfectly." In a deep hidden chamber on Earth, President Lena Mora spoke with Director Arya Kane once more. "The Council is reacting just as we planned," Arya reported. "They're paranoid, divided, making mistakes." "Good," Lena said. "Continue." "The pressure, no open war. Just more confusion." Arya leaned forward. "Are you sure we don't just hit them now?" "Strike first." Lena shook her head. "Not yet. When we strike, it will be final. For now." She pressed a button. A message went out, not to the Council, to every remaining human colony, soldier and asset. Keep silent. Keep watching. Let them break themselves. Meanwhile, in deep space, a Council spy ship spotted something strange. A massive object, floating near a dead star. It had no energy signature, no movement. They approached carefully. The object was a ship, but not like anything the galaxy had ever seen. Sharp, long, black as the void. No markings. No heat, just one symbol etched into the hull. Earth's flag. The crew sent a signal. No reply. They moved closer. Still nothing. Suddenly, all systems went black. The last thing the ship's captain saw was the Earth flag lighting up red dot. Then nothing. Ship never returned. In council space, rumors spread. The humans have a ghost fleet. They've built ships that don't exist on sensors. They walk among us already. You speak against Earth. You disappear. Some council members began resigning. Others left their planets. Some tried to contact Earth and were ignored. Only silence answered, and that silence screamed louder than war at a secret council meeting. A desperate plan was formed. One final. Attempted joint force of spies, diplomats, and elite soldiers would be sent deep into Sol system. Quietly, their mission. Find out what humanity was hiding. Find the truth. Stop the fear. But one of the spies an alien named Jexel sent. A secret. Message before departure. He had lived on Earth for years during peace. His message was short. Do not go. Do not chase shadows. They already won. You just haven't realized it yet. The message was ignored. The mission launched. They never came back. In Earth orbit. Commander Isha Varen watched the stars. One of her lieutenants stood beside her. Councils. Falling apart, he said. Their fleets are scared. Even their allies are leaving them. Isha nodded. The silence war is working, she said. Then she turned. Soon, it won't just be silence. The galaxy felt quiet. Too quiet. After humanity cut all communication with the Galactic Council, many thought it was over. That maybe the humans had vanished into their corner of space to sulk or rebuild, but the truth was much worse. Ships that flew near the edge of human territory reported the same thing: silence. No warnings, no signals. It's just empty space, dark and watching. Drones sent in never came back. And the ones that did return came back burned, torn, or simply. The Varnic Empire was the first to speak again in the council. They were proud and bold, claiming humans were cowards. They had no stomach for war. They pushed for sanctions and a united strike force to enter human space. We are wasting time with silence, Ambassador Relic shouted. Let us show them what happens when a species turns its back on the council. Some cheered. Some stayed. Quiet. Others stared at the central chamber where the human chair still sat empty and untouched. A small species. The Dorlans tried once to send a peace probe. It disappeared. Then came the incident at Border Point Zeta. A trade vessel from the Gyran Syndicate drifted near old human space. They weren't looking for trouble, just a shortcut. But halfway through the jump, all their systems went dead. No weapons. No shields. No comms. And then a message appeared on every screen. You were warned. This is your last. The ship reappeared 2 days later at a council outpost. Its crew, gone. Not dead. Just missing. 8. No signs of struggle. No blood. Just absence. That's when the silence started to feel like something alive. Heavy. Waiting. Council meetings became tense. Some members began to suspect something bigger. The humans were not hiding. Maybe they were preparing. Watching. Listening. Why? No war declaration? Why no raids? Why just silence? A young researcher named Ilari, from the Mokar race, found a pattern. She linked dozens of strange energy spikes across systems near human space. Not attacks, not battles, but signals bursts of data that lasted less than a second. They were messages. Hidden ones. She brought it to the council. But they laughed. Said she was paranoid. But a few listened. A few believed. One of them was General Forsk, a hardened war veteran who fought in the insectoid swarms. He looked at the data and went pale. These aren't random. They're checks, scans, triggers, like they're marking locations for something. For what? Someone asked. Forsk didn't answer because deep down, he already knew. The silence wasn't peace. It was a countdown, and no one knew how long was left. It began without warning. The lights of the Voltrix system, vanished in a single blink. 5 inhabited planets, 7 orbital colonies, 4 research moons, gone. No explosions, no distress calls, just a quiet flicker across the galactic map. One moment, Vultrix glowed like a star cluster. The next hit was black dot. The Galactic Council stared at the data feeds in disbelief. This has to be a system failure. Someone said, no, it can't be. The backup satellites are gone too, whispered a tech officer. Panic spread fast. A recon fleet was scrambled immediately. 20 ships, armored, armed, ready. They reached the edge of Vultrix space in less than 4 hours and stopped. The system looked normal from the outside. Planets still orbited their stars. Structures were in place. Cities visible from orbit. But no movement. No energy readings. No life signs. Not even the hum of a reactor. It was like everything had simply stopped. The flagship Render's Edge sent a drone to the surface of Vultrix Prime. It transmitted a short video feed before going silent. The feed showed streets full of parked vehicles, food on tables, doors left open, no damage, no smoke. Just no people, as if they had stood up and walked away in the middle of life. Admiral Voss, leader of the recon fleet, felt a chill rise up his spine. Pull back, he ordered. But Admiral, we haven't even... I said, pull back now. Fleet turned. But it was too late. A ripple of distortion cracked through space like thunder. Ships screamed alerts. Shields burst into flame. Engines cut out. They never saw what hit them. All that returned was the last message from Render's Edge. Broadcast seconds before its destruction. They're here. They're not coming. They're already inside. That night, council members met. In secret, many demanded war. Others demanded answers. But no one knew who to fight or how human territory remained silent, their space untouched. Not a single signal came from their worlds. Still, systems close to old human borders began evacuations. Stations emptied. Civilians fled. The silence wasn't just growing louder, now it was spreading. And then, 3 nights later, a small station near the Lurian expanse received a strange signal. Only one word repeated in every galactic language. Justice. It wasn't sent from human space. It came from the heart of Vultrix. From the very system that no longer had life. And behind that single word was the sound of breathing. Human. Calm. Cold. The galaxy was beginning to understand. The silence was not just a warning. It was a promise. They called it the Curel Accords. Signed 2 decades before the fall of Vultrix, it was the treaty that kept the galaxy from burning. Dozens of species agreed to one simple rule. Leave humanity alone. No patrols near their zone. No scanning there. Worlds. No messages. No missions. No trade. In return, humanity agreed to stay silent. Isolated. Unreachable. And for 20 years, it worked, but treaties mean nothing to those who grow arrogant. It started with whispers. Humans are extinct. Silence is weakness. No activity in decades. Maybe they're gone. Zarn Dominion was the first to test the line. They sent a single stealth ship into human-controlled space. Just to look. Just to confirm. Just to prove that the old fears were false. The ship was never heard from. Again, but that didn't stop others. A mining corporation slipped drones into a dead asteroid belt near human territory. They returned with strange readings, buried heat. Massive movement below the surface. Before analysis finished, the drones turned to slag. Then came the real mistake. The Harvac Alliance launched an expedition. 20 ships. For science teams. To council observers, they broadcast their arrival openly, claiming peace. Curiosity. No harm intended. They entered the border world called Vera 7. Only one ship came back. Its crew were all dead frozen, burned, and shattered at the same time. The ship itself was barely intact, fused together by unknown technology. Its navigation logs were gone. Its power core still hummed with energy never before seen. A message had been burned into the ship's hull in deep, gouged slashes, we remember. The treaty, you did not. Panic spread again through the galaxy. Old records of the human wars were reopened. Documents unsealed. Archived footage reviewed, and in every image, one truth echoed: humanity didn't lose. They simply stopped. They vanished not in defeat but in choice. And now, after 2 decades of silence, something was moving again, not just in their systems, but everywhere. Small, impossible signs. A merchant ship passing near the Orion Nebula found its fuel replaced with liquid metal. The crew hadn't even noticed until mid-flight. A scout drone over a gas giant disappeared for 3 minutes, then returned with footage of a colossal machine sleeping within the clouds, in the shadows of the galaxy. Human technology once unseen, now unstoppable, was waking up. And yet, the Council still argued. It was an accident. We must send ambassadors. We need to calm them down. But there was no calming what had been broken, because humanity had signed that treaty out of mercy, not fear. And now that it was broken, mercy was no longer required.